Good morning, bedheads. Click. How you doing today? Oh, I am just fancy. Look at me. Oh my gosh. It's getting really I need to do this. Okay. You got your bedhead on today? Let's go. Let's go. I have no shame. I'm telling you. How many people would show up like this? How many? Hey, cool mug, huh? Hold the vision. I love it. This is one of our mugs. So today, hey, you guys, this is Coffee with Karen. Also, this is the September energy report, which is going to be really, really interesting. So, what my plan is for now is one, to keep my hair like this because it's amazing. And two, I'm always going to do a little coffee with Karen in the first part of the video, and then do the report or whatever we're talking about, and then I'm going to cut it and always show the report as a separate video later in the day. Okay, so if there's some days where you don't want to catch Coffee with Karen or an SG video, I think I am going to start combining them for now. I just want to see how it goes. I want to see how it goes, and how often I can stand showing up with just bedhead on every video. We'll see. Just because I'm doing it earlier in the morning, but yeah, I could comb my hair for you, but you know why? Why do that? Too much effort. Just teasing. You're worth it. Okay, so little coffee with Karen. So what I'm going to do is actually do for this video, I will do a timestamp, I think, for when the energy report starts. So if again, you're rushing and you just want to get to the energy report, or like if I do Coffee with Karen with SGs, which I'll probably do tomorrow. That'll be a first. Like I'll sit here and do the SGs, depending on topics and questions you guys have. SGs meaning spirit guides for people who are new. But I'll try to I'll think about doing a timestamp for people who just want to bump to that. But again, you can watch just that part of it in the evening video. Okay? So that's what I'm trying out. So, a few things I'm going to tell you about my mother-in-law. And then I want to show you some mugs that we have in our mug shop because it's 40% off today, Labor Day sale. Happy Labor Day, everybody. So I'll show you a few of them, including this one. Okay. I love this. We have several Hold the Vision, which, I actually developed these during the Golden Future, when we were talking about the Golden Future. It's a book by Diana Cooper, which is now we're reading the second one in the Spirit Circle, Unicorn. So I have something to read out of here real quick for you. So really fascinating. And then we will get to the energy report for September. It's really interesting. It's not only an energy report, but the SGs, our lead team collective, has given me, I asked last night for pendulum messages for the month of September. Now, these are just like for the overarching month, but I will also grab pendulum messages once a week probably, and we can do Oracle, and I'll do that, after Coffee with Karen too. Okay. So this month, for the month, I think they gave me 6. They gave me 6 pendulum messages for the month, and that will tie into the report. So that's going to be really interesting. Okay. So you have to just keep me posted as I'm trying these new things. What you like, what you don't like. Of course, that's always hard because everybody has a little bit of different tastes, but I get good ideas. Like if there's something in the report you want me to add, or if it's too long or whatever, just give me a little feedback as we go along, and I'll just adjust because obviously I want to make it helpful for all of us. Okay. Okay. So, I was just reading my sister's text because I was asking her, how long is the Labor Day sale in the shop? So what did she say? Okay. Yeah. Labor Day sale. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so let me talk about my sweet, amazing mother-in-law who transitioned yesterday. So I want to say big, big hugs, send out big, big hugs to my sister-in-law, Julie, all my sister-in-laws and my brother-in-law, but Julie does watch every once in a while. Big hug to you if you're watching today. And my niece, Jamie. I don't know if any of my other nieces or nephews watch this, but I know Jamie does every once in a while. So big hugs to you, Jamie, for the loss of your grandmother. I know how hard that is. So, and Julie, there's just nothing, I don't know, losing a mom. And I know, in the spiritual world, how we talk about stuff, we know we haven't lost them, but they're not here, and our reality changes, and that's the really hard thing. So, I couldn't have asked for a better mother-in-law, honestly. She was the least the least judgmental person I have ever met. So to be a daughter-in-law with that just loving acceptance, unbelievable, just unbelievable. So, yeah, she'll be truly, truly missed. So I'm very happy for her. I'm very relieved for her. She had progressively worse dementia and was, just, I'm so relieved for her to be out of her body. I personally am relieved, probably more than, I have no idea how relieved she is. I'm sure she is though. Um, so that part, and she was 94, which is amazing. Unfortunately, she did see one of her sons pass before her, so a couple years ago. So that's awful. And her husband died in when did he die, you guys? 1996? I think it was 1996, so quite a long time ago. So I had this vision and talking to my husband yesterday about, Sterling. Some of us watch Sterling, and he was talking about Sterling, psychic medium. If you're not sure who he is, I will post him in the description below. Anytime I talk about other channels, I like to do shout outs for them and post them for you to check them out in case they're helpful for you. But he was talking about being in the hospital a couple months ago. I think he was in the hospital a couple months ago, and how he would see families, spiritual families, in the waiting, like outside around, outside in the hallway, kind of waiting to usher people home, usher people to they're through their transition. And so I just had this, I was talking to my husband last night about how I'm absolutely 1,000% positive his Marietta's husband spirit was there waiting. Her mom, who she lost when she was 17 years old. So it's been 70 years since she's seen her mom. So her dad, her son, all her brothers and sisters, basically, or her brothers. No, not her sisters. Her sisters are still here. So I had to think, but all her husband's brothers and sisters. So she had a huge crew waiting for her. I'm absolutely positive. So yeah. So it's interesting because, last week, you guys, if you were here during Coffee with Karen, I was talking about funerals. It's so interesting because now there is not one thing that could keep me away from going to this wake and this funeral. And last week I was like, I don't want to go to any wakes or funerals ever. It's so interesting how perspective changes. Like, you couldn't keep me away from it at this point. And I wasn't really talking about hers specifically. I mean, but it's just interesting how life, just every day, we just keep evolving, don't we? And some days we pull back and some days we go forward, and we're just constantly evolving. So anyways, you couldn't keep me away. So just want to be with the family and be there to honor her and her tradition of how she wanted this to go and how her daughters want it to go, and just honor them and be with them. And yeah, anyways, thank you for letting me share any love and light you can send, not only to my family who's going through this transition, but to any others in our community who's going through transitions right now over the last year. Because, grief takes a while. So any love and light we can all send everybody who's going through, well, and we're collectively going through transitions, aren't we? With, a lot of ideals we used to have about the U.S. If you're in the U.S. or outside of the U.S., you still probably had different ideals about the U.S. We've had to, I'm not comparing this obviously to a death of a loved one, but think about losing a loved one and going through this transition, depending on how hard it's hitting you in the United States too. You know what I mean? So lots and lots of things going on. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's more than interesting. I'm looking, now I'm feeling all weird about my hair. Okay, so I have to keep it up just, because it's funnier that way. What a bad head. I did wash it before I went to bed last night, and this is what you get. Okay, so a few mugs if you're interested in supporting our little business and our community. There's 4 of us actually who run this community. And so it's fun, honestly, just to do the mugs. I love doing the creative stuff. Right now we're working on some journals for the, we're going to call it something other than a challenge, but right now that's all that I have in the top of my head right now. But we're going to do another 30-day challenge starting October 1st. So I would say in the next 3 or 4 days, although I won't have copies of them myself, but I could show you on my phone. We're going to have fall and Halloween style journals to be able to use starting October 1st. Okay. And I am working on some gender neutral ones because I do like to use flowers a lot. But, flowers are gender neutral in my opinion, but not everybody likes flowers. So, or like floral, but this has pumpkins and some Halloween and stuff like that. So October 1st, mark your calendar. Whether you get a journal or not, you can still participate. Sign up for the newsletter right here because we are going to, we did the challenge 2 or 3 months ago. Now we're going to extend it. We're going to provide a little bit more touch bases than we did that first time. And so, yeah, join the newsletter right here, or the description. See the little thing, the QR code. Or the description is in the, the link is in the description. Okay. So just a few other mugs that we have. I mean, come on, how can you not have this one? Don't look at me. I didn't vote for them. I love that one. Of course, I used this last week. I'm a ray of effing sunshine. I did use this one yesterday. Shit shield activated. We have some really cute ones too, not just, snarky, but alone we are a drop, together we are a flood. Love, love. We've got, this is sort of the Ask the Spirit Guides logo. Ask the Spirit Guides logo. So we've got a couple of different colors, I think, in there. We've got this one. Everyone is welcome here. Love. And our latest, I showed this yesterday, but it is officially up and at 40% off. It is, bum, ba, ba, ba. I mean, how could you not want this one? Slap. Oh my God. Okay. So you guys know my sense of humor. It's weird. I know. Okay. So let's look at a few ideas about unicorns real quick, because I think the more I read this, the more I'm going to kind of understand. I have this sense now, and I don't know this for certain. I have this sense now that, unicorns became like a commercial thing, It's obviously very commercial with young kids. And I even have a unicorn cup. I'll have to start pulling that out. And I think that it probably became commercial. If there's truth to what I'm reading in here, we will, especially in the spirit circle, because this is where we're diving deep into this in the membership. But like I said, I'll bring a few things here to the public channel for those who aren't joining us. But we'll probably do an SG session, spirit guide session with the dowsing rods to ask questions to our lead team collective in the spirit circle to ask more about this. I've already asked them. We've asked them in other sessions on the public channel, actually, with you guys. And they did say that all of us have a personal connection with a unicorn, a personal unicorn. So the thing that's interesting to me is the way she describes it actually takes the commercialized, cartoony thing about unicorns and puts it into like a real concept. And the way she describes it, I can understand it. I think what makes me giggle about it sometimes is because of the commercialized, the cartoon-like character of a unicorn. Do you know what I mean? So, let's see. The way she described this in chapter 1, okay, is they are white horses, okay, so white horses which have ascended into the higher dimensions. So just like humans, horses, so just think of a horse, right? Horses reincarnate until they become perfected beings. So just like humans. In their case, they return to Earth again and again to learn their lessons until they become white horses and can ascend in a blaze of light. See, now that I can get around that because it's not commercialized. You know what I mean? So I did say that a lot. You know what I mean? And now I'm going to say that constantly, and I'm going to pay attention. And now I'm trying not to say it too often. All right. So then these horses work with us in their spiritual bodies as unicorns. While angels work through the heart, unicorns work with us on our souls. So that's the difference. Isn't that cool? So the great ascended horses. Okay, let me go back because I want to say angels help and guide their human charges in all sorts of ways. So we each have a guardian angel, a couple spirit guides that can shift throughout our lives depending on what we're, trying to accomplish or experience or learn. So we each have 2 spirit guides. Again, this is what was confirmed from the lead team and our spirit teams. 2 spirit guides, 1 guardian angel that stays with us from birth till death, transition, basically, leaving this particular lifetime, and a personal unicorn. Okay, so angels help and guide their human charges in all sorts of ways. They smooth our paths and respond to requests as long as our requests are for the highest good. All right. They guard and protect those in their care and whisper higher choices to them. I wonder if like Trump just can't hear anymore. His guardian angel is like, come on, I've been trying to whisper, but, if he's not asking, but they've been trying to whisper their higher choices to him. The great ascended horses, on the other hand, look for those who radiate a light and have a vision beyond their little selves, beyond our little selves. They seek people who aspire to help others and to change the world for the better, even if it's just their small corner of it. So if you are doing something, it doesn't have to be talking to people on YouTube, but if you have any intention of you have any aspirations to help others in any kind of way, one other person, you know, we were walking last night and we ran into a neighbor who I hadn't seen for a while. And I said, "Oh, I haven't seen you down this summer at the pool or anything." And she said, "No, I'm just kind of lazy." She's probably like 75, 80, but doesn't matter. But she said, "Oh, I'm kind of lazy or whatever." And then I said, "Oh, where are you coming from?" And she said, "Oh, I have a friend who's can't hear. She hasn't been able to hear her whole life. And so I go groceries, I help with groceries and stuff like that for, whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, that doesn't sound lazy to me." That's not lazy, I'm sure, it's things like that. So they seek people who aspire to help others and to change the world for the better, even if it is just their small corner of it. So if we're going to talk about different spiritual practices that we can do for the month of September based on the astrology, based on the events that we might start, continue to see. And if you're doing that, then I'm inspired to think that unicorns are putting light on you to continue helping you do that. So isn't that cool? I love this. All right. So if you do want to join the Spirit Circle, we're just starting tomorrow. And you can always catch up if you want. You can't get the book right away. The videos will always be there. So, okay. All right, so let's go ahead. So I'm going to say at 22 minutes, we're going to start. I better write that down. We're going to start the energy report for September. Let's take a look at what the predictions might be for September, okay? Based on pendulum messages and that sort of thing. Okay, so 22 minutes, just to make it easy for myself. Welcome, everybody. Click. Here's the energy report for September. It was combined with Coffee with Karen, which we show up with our bedheads. So that was posted earlier this morning. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to tell you kind of how this is designed and what kind of information we're going to get first. Okay. So we're basically, this is a look ahead report for the month of September 2025. All right. We've got pendulum guidance from the Lead Team Collective. We have 6 messages from them. Okay. For September. We have the current astrology, what's coming up in September. This is all combining the messages. So these are the things that we're using to look at the energy for the month. Okay. We are looking at key natal charts of Trump, Vance, the USA, Project 2025, because I do think we need to keep a little bit of a tabs on it. Weird is not the right word. Not in a fear-mongering way, but just I think if we can keep tabs on it in these look ahead or look back reports that I'm going to do regularly, if you guys like them, then it will help us get enough information to stay up on things, but not having to watch the news about it and feel, because a lot of that's all fear-mongering, And then also natal charts for world cycles. That's all included, okay? We're going to look at extra political natal charts depending on different countries, and historical spiritual movement natal charts, okay? So there's a whole bunch of them in there that I pulled, okay? I'm trying to think, civil rights movement, the women's right to vote movement. Those are kind of political, but I put them under spiritual. And what am I thinking of? I can't think of the words. With the music. They played the music in the 60s. What was that called? That's in there too. So it's just spiritual movement. So that's all a part of these reports. So I just want it to be as well-rounded as possible. Then these reports, the look forward of reports, are going to always pull the trends of current events, political, spiritual, collective events that have been going on over the last 2 or 3 months that are still trending. So it'll help us kind of predict what might we see for the look ahead. Okay. And then the last thing I added, and you guys I'm not going to go over these things every time, but I wanted you to know for the first time we're doing a look ahead report, what I've included. Okay. Because I want to know, is there anything else you think I should include? Okay. So I included the 250-year cycle of the divine feminine rising to see how is that shifting the energy going forward. Okay. So let me know if there's anything else you guys want me to include in these reports. Okay. Okay. So the month, quick overview of the month of September. And then we've got some storylines that may occur, okay? And then we've got how many predictions? I think we have 6 predictions. So I'll try to go over those as briefly as possible. But under the predictions, they might, prove to be too long. We'll have to see, okay? Some of you might enjoy this much detail, and I guess if you don't enjoy, I'll give you the overview real quick. So people who only want the overview can just get the overview. That's what I'll do. I'll just give you the overview, and then people who want to stick around for the more extensive prediction part, perfect. Okay, so this way we'll balance people who, don't want that much information. So under the predictions, just so you know what you'll get under the predictions, is there'll be a forecast of what this prediction means, hidden agenda behind it, astrology influences, Trump's natal chart, impact. I'm just doing that for now because it's kind of a powerful thing. The perspective from the 3D, helping from the 5D, and the pendulum insight for that prediction. Okay, so the overview bullet points is Trump's instability peaks under the September 7th Pisces Lunar Eclipse because of his natal chart. It's a huge activation in his chart. So that's gonna show up in the predictions below, okay, more specifically. JD Vance gains momentum behind the scenes as Trump wobbles. Project 2025 continues advancing, but fractures widen under legal and internal strain. Wah, wah. U.S. citizens feel pressure as institutions falter while grassroots networks expand. So some reality, some really positive, okay? Globally, tariffs and shifting alliances create instability, but also opportunities for new coalitions. It's wonderful. Again, we're here now. We know we've been 9 months in now. We know this shit's breaking down, right? It's breaking down so that we can build it back up. Okay. So new coalitions, new grassroots networks expanding. Amazing. Seeing things like Newsom take a different approach to how he's communicating. I just watched a 3-minute clip yesterday. I'll try to remember here. I'll put it below in the description. So let me put this Newsom press conference. It was awesome. He was using, because like Trump's all about like the blue state crimes. He literally had these posters made, these little tiny, like 8.5 by 11 posters made of the red states, including the Speaker of the House's state, on how their crime is actually way worse compared to California. So he kept showing, and he's like, oh, what about this state? And he had the facts on it. It was amazing. I'm like, yes, practical communication. That's what we need. The pushback he's doing is brilliant, at least for now. So that's awesome. Let's see. So spiritually, September emphasizes breathing. So breath work, okay, laughter, and anchoring light as the divine feminine rising deepens. Okay, the pendulum messages for the month. Again, if you're new here, I use a pendulum. I don't have it with me. It's a pendulum map and a swinging thing like this. And the lead team collective, our lead team collective, which is made up of all of our spirit teams, they give me messages. They spell out messages. Okay. So the 6 things they wanted us to know for the look ahead for the whole month of September is, oh shoot, hang on one second. Okay. So the pendulum messages are just breathe. You will be just fine. Isn't that great? You will be just fine. They literally spelled like, they didn't say you will be fine. You will be just fine. Laugh often. Trump is losing his mind. Some of you probably think I'm losing my I don't know if I could continue showing up. Oh my God. Only now, the reason I'm laughing about my hair is because now I'm going to be posting these at like 7 o'clock. So I'm just, like in a year from now, I'm going to look back at these videos and be like, what was I thinking? Okay. So Trump is losing his mind, losing their grip. That was one of the messages. And again, in the predictions below, we're going to tie in how the messages might play out based on the predictions. Okay, that's why this is interesting. And the last one was keeping a hold of the light. Keeping a hold of the light. The crystal recommendations for the month of September are amethyst and black tourmaline. Okay, so amethyst for clarity, calm, and grounding, and black tourmaline, which tends to be that keeps coming up, black tourmaline, because it's protection and energy boundaries. Okay, I think tourmaline is probably a really important one. And thank you. I've had a couple people send me crystals. Thank you so much. I haven't had a chance to show people or personally thank you, but I wanted to now that I just mentioned that. So they're beautiful. Thank you so much for sending them. So the black tourmaline, it's probably a really good thing to have on hand right now anyways, as there's so much stuff changing. Okay. So probably a really good one to get. Okay. So top store potential storylines based on the past 2 or 3 months that are still the events that are still kind of trending. Is Trump's unraveling accelerates under eclipse pressure. And that has to do with his natal chart. Thank you, Faye, for pointing that out. Okay. J.D. Vance positions himself as heir apparent. What? They changed that. Heir apparent, like ready to be the successor type of thing. Project 2025 advances but shows cracks. We like the cracks. The more things crack, boom, then the more likelihood it's, hey, if we're hitting 3D walls like I talked about yesterday, they're just gonna, like we might hit the wall, but they're just gonna, it's like a piece of glass that cracks. Eventually it just kind of falls, in pieces down to the ground. That's how I'm envisioning it. A global pushback on U.S. instability intensifies. Okay. Again, these are predictions based on things that have been going on, plus the astrology for September. All right. So global pushback on U.S. instability intensifies. Light workers, here we are, anchor spiritual steadiness. All right. So that is a good call for us, is to anchor, you might want to write this down, spiritual steadiness. And maybe we'll create, I'll probably start to use these in Coffee with Karen. Some of these things, it's like, why? I mean, why not? I might as well use the report for the month and continue weaving it through conversations. Okay. So I'll try to remember to have that conversation about light workers anchoring spiritual steadiness. We'll kind of use that throughout the month. Okay. All right. Secondary storylines. Tariff-driven inflation pressures households. Okay, not surprising. Okay, so hopefully you've been stocking up on some things that you can afford to. That at this point, I'm not feeling as if things are not going to be on the shelves. I mean, I could be wrong about that, like I was maybe a couple months ago, but now it's just things are just more expensive. Because of the way I'm eating right now, the steak that I've been buying went from $21 a pound to $25 a pound. I'm like, what? But I do think that has to do with, well, it could be just people taking advantage, but Brazil, apparently we get a lot of beef from Brazil, and that's slowing down. And then the farmers in different states are having a hard time because they don't have workers. So there might be a shortage. So yeah, anyways, it's just an example. Okay. Courts continue restraining authoritarian moves. So that's really good. Spiritual and activist voices surge online. Okay, so that's a really cool prediction. Spiritual and activist voices surge online. So pretty cool. Okay, so extends, let's see. Okay, so there is some key astrological dates. It's a little too much information for me, but just know tonight, September 1st, and I'll bring these back throughout the month, okay? So September 1st, new moon in Virgo, resets routines and simplifies, okay? So that's tonight, new moon. So if you have a new moon ritual that you want to participate in or light a candle, however you want to do that, it resets routines and simplifies, okay? Okay, so let's move into the predictions then. So those who want a little bit more information. So prediction number 1 for the month in terms of energy, okay? Collective pause, breathing through the chaos, okay? So we might see a collective pause and more people, as their vibration rises, I would guess, breathing through the chaos, okay? September brings heavy but routines and pauses offer grounding, okay? So September brings a heaviness, but routines and pauses offer grounding. You can use black tourmaline for that too. And again, the new moon is resetting routines. So students are going back to school, right? Some have already started. Our littles in our family have started. They all had their first day of pictures. I've seen all of them, most of them on my side of the family. I'm trying to think. No, we don't have any littles on my husband's side of the family yet that are going to school yet. So except for one big little, Jamie, I'd like to see his first day picture. If she's listening. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so collective pause, breathing through the chaos, what it could mean. Okay, growth of meditation groups, humor used as medicine, and breathe as activism. That's interesting. Hidden agenda, leaders may use patience to stall accountability. Okay, so which is exactly what we've been seeing in the House. You know how Johnson let them go because they don't want to have to deal with the Epstein situation. So that may be, just kind of taking light right now. All right. Let's see. So Trump's natal chart, the September 7th Pisces Lunar Eclipse activates his sun-moon opposition in a Grand Cross. Okay, that's too much for me. Overwhelming, destabilizing, potentially life-changing for him. Public perception swings wildly. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so that's around the September 7th. Now, Faye, our community astrologer, had sent me an email about this. Let me read to you because it's quite interesting. I just got to locate it here. Let's see. Okay, so Faye said on September 7th, that's only 6 days away, this eclipse will hit Trump's natal chart in a very powerful and potentially life-changing way. She says, I can't stress enough how important this activation is in his chart. It's called a Grand Cross, and without going into the nitty-gritty, just trust me, this one is huge. Now, she did go into the nitty gritty a little bit later. She's always kind, separates like, this is what I want you to know, and then here's a lot more detail. So I'm going to synthesize or summarize that detail for you in terms of the September 7th. Or should we just do that later? I'm going to do that later, you guys. I'm going to bring back the September 7th, maybe like, maybe a couple days before. Let's do that a couple days before, but I'll give you a general flavor in case you're like, don't leave me hanging. Okay. So potentially, based on his chart, exposes hidden truths, forces crisis and reputation, family and identity, high pressure, no escape, karmic confrontation. So we'll go into what that means for America and the collective and that sort of thing based on his chart and basically how to navigate. So I've got some information on that. Okay, so let's go back to the overall looking ahead. And we were on prediction number 1. Okay, so prediction number 1. Okay, so again, collective pause, breathing through the chaos. So it sounds like because of Trump's natal chart, and it sounds like he's going to be in quite a bit of chaos on September 7th. We might be seeing some stuff around them. Okay. All right. Perspective, anchor one daily grounding habit if possible, and use that black tourmaline, you could practice visualize the nation, inhaling peace and exhaling fear. What a great suggestion. Inhaling peace, exhaling fear. So if you like any of these, jot them down, and then maybe that's a new little practice you could have for the week or however you want to do it. Okay. So allies, I did ask for angels that we could ask for support in each of the predictions as well. So this would be a time to call upon Archangel Uriel for grounding wisdom and Kuan Yin for compassion. So I didn't call upon just archangels, but goddesses and gods and, different beings as appropriate. Okay. So Kuan Yin for compassion. The pendulum insight here was appropriate. Just breathe. The guides emphasize steadiness in the storm over rushing change. So steadiness in the storm. So, in the chaos, because this is about chaos, this prediction. So try to stay as steady and grounded as possible rather than rushing and wishing things change as quickly as possible. I think we've all not all, but I have settled in, and I know we've had this conversation, I have settled into the idea that we need to see enough cracks before things can truly be built up way better than they were. Because now I can see we really needed that. So Trump's soul contract's probably doing its job. Didn't have to be as cruel as they are. We know that. But I think, I can kind of see why this might have been important. I'm not supporting the way he's doing it at all. So, okay, prediction number 2, grassroots resilience expand. So that's cool. So we might see that coming into September. Grassroots resilience expanding. Okay. Local networks strengthen as national institutions stumble. Now, in the Golden Future, the book we read by Diana Cooper was the other one we read by her. We love you, Diana. Obviously, I really like your books. And she's got oracle decks too, which are amazing. She's got oracle decks for the Golden Future, and she's got an oracle deck for the Unicorn book too. So we'll be using that throughout the month. Actually, it's probably going to take us a couple months to get through that Unicorn book. So join us anytime you want to. Okay. So anyways, in the Golden Future, I think it was in the Golden Future, plus other things we've been reading, the reset that we're going through, the changes that we're going through are going to put more focus on local. So spiritually, we are going to see us shifting from paying attention to the national stuff, like that's where the support's coming from and has been coming from, to more localized support. Okay. So that people actually get the support they need, and that we're helping each other. We're getting back to more community basically over the next 30 years, by 2030, basically. Okay. No, 2030, that's only 5 years. But 2050 probably. Okay. So between now and 2050, so this actually makes sense to me, is local networks strengthen as national institutions stumble. So based on that reset that we're going through, that kind of makes sense to me and how it's been described. More co-ops, neighborhood aid, ecological healing circles. We might start seeing some of those. Elites may let instability grow to consolidate wealth. Aren't they nice? There's going to be not all elites do this. There are some elites that, look at the governor of Illinois. You guys know he's a billionaire, right? As far as I can tell, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but as far as I can tell, he's got good intentions, So, but it's interesting. The hidden agenda behind, about what's going on right now. Elites may let instability grow so that they can continue to consolidate their wealth. How much more frickin' money do you possibly need? It's unbelievable. It's power. It's power. But, karma rebalancing. It's good. They're going to have to deal with that. Okay. So about the grassroots. Let's see. So rely on local support more than national promises. Okay. So just start looking at your own community, where you live, your neighborhood, start paying, I never pay attention to even school boards. I don't have any children, so I never paid attention to school boards, or even the small town I live in, the city government. I think I'm going to start doing that. So, and that would be an encouragement for all of us to start, thinking about that. And then the more you start doing that, the unicorns might be shedding some light on you, because if that's the direction that source wants us going, which is my understanding from, again, all the things I'm reading and from mediums that I've heard from, if source wants us moving in that direction, and that's part of the reset, source wants us localizing and getting back to community. So if we do that, then we're supporting that process, even if you do little things, helping your neighbor out, rather than your neighbor having to rely on federal aid. It'd be nice if they got it, but we can do both, in the meantime. So, but then when you start doing that, if we read about unicorns is true, they'll start, and that was with Coffee with Karen and the full video that you're watching, that you're not watching now, or no, you could be watching, or you might not be watching. You might be watching just the September report. So, anyways, the unicorns, if you do an act of service, they will help shine light on that. So, even small ones. Okay. So a 5D practice that you could have for this area in terms of grassroots movements is to send light to strengthen community bonds. And you could call out to Archangel Raphael for healing and Goddess Gaia for resilience. So the pendulum message, you will be just fine, is pulled in here under the grassroots movements. Reassurance that resilience flows bottom up, not top down. Isn't that great? So you will be just fine. We will be just fine. Resilience grows from the bottom up, not the top down. Okay. All right. I really enjoy this. I hope you guys, how do you feel about this? Do you like this report? I think it's helping me feel more grounded. That's my goal. I want to stay aware. You know me, I've been talking about this for a little bit. I want to stay aware of what's going on in the 3D, but I want to stay grounded as much as possible in the 5D, because as we shift, then we can help shift. Because if you're in fear, we can't help shift. It's too hard because you're just going to actually perpetuate the 3D. And I don't want to sit with this community or facilitate this community from a place of fear. If I ever did, I apologize. It's just because I was freaking out myself. But my goal is to continue facilitating myself and just bringing you along for the ride if you want to go, to, being aware, but, doing what we can to help source, bring this whole thing along. Okay. And then we'll get help from the unicorns. Okay. All right. So prediction number 3 for the month, Trump's unraveling peaks. That's interesting. So I don't know. I haven't listened to anybody else's energy reports. I don't know anything at this point about what people are saying for September. You guys will have to let me know if there's any similarities. Okay. I'll probably listen to some of them after this, but I just haven't had a chance to. Okay. So Trump's unraveling peaks. This probably has to do with that September 7th thing. Trump's volatility escalates, contradictions and erratic behavior peak. I mean, how can it get any more? This is where my slap has... So y'all need to get the slap mug because I think it sounds like we're going to need it this month. Either that one or this one, Don't look at me. I didn't vote for him. I will always have that mug. We also have a version of that with his little silly hair. No, like I can't criticize hair, but so for those of you who didn't see the slap mug in the previous, if you didn't watch Coffee with Karen version of this video, this is in the shop right now for 40% off. So I just love the look on his face, like, ooh. So, whenever you feel like giving him a good old slap, because, he's just so erratic. Okay, so Trump's unraveling peaks. Let's see. Allies prepare contingencies. J.D. Vance gains leverage. Okay, there's a very good chance. I mean, what is the transition going to be? I will give you a little secret I asked last night. I asked the lead team. Maybe I just asked my spirit teams. I was like, is J.D. Vance going to be president? And they said yes. And then I said, no, again, things can shift. But I asked, is J.D. Vance going to be president for the next 3.5 years? And they said no. So something's still in the works for that. Okay, something's still in the works for that. All right. Let's see. GOP elites may allow Trump to collapse, repositioning power. Okay, this is going to be interesting. All right. The astrology influences here, because again, we have that September 7th influence thing going on, is hitting Trump's sun, moon, and nodes, whatever that means. I don't need to know. But it does mean volatility, erosion of control, and J.D. Vance, they have listed under here as empowerment. Okay, so something, because we're always looking at J.D. Vance's natal chart as well now. So that's kind of interesting. It kind of goes together. So volatility, erosion of control for Trump, and empowerment for J.D. Okay, not that that's better, but hey, it's a step in the right direction. It's a one step in the, it'll be interesting because here's the thing. MAGA are not supporters of J.D. Vance. Okay. So as far as I know, they're not supporters of him. So it is a move in the right direction. All right. So, and we're going to have to follow norms, which they're not following the Constitution. So I don't know why anybody else has to, but I'm sure like if something goes down with Trump, if he steps down or whatever, then what would have to happen according to the Constitution is obviously Vance would be in there. But again, my guide said not for the 3.5 years. So fingers crossed. Let's see. Trump's natal impact in terms, again, we're talking about the prediction of Trump's unraveling peaks. This eclipse is massive, potentially life-defining. public exposure, loss of control, or health stamina crisis possible. Don't waste energy chasing every rant. That's advice for us. Don't waste your energy chasing his rants. Nah, not important. Just use your slap mug. Oh my gosh. If we don't laugh, we cry, right? Okay, so helping from the 5D, hold light to neutralize fear-based chaos. And call upon Archangel Michael for protection, and Goddess Kali, Goddess Kali for cutting away toxic power. Did you guys know that? Goddess Kali, Kali. But I have a pronunciation here, K-A-H, Kali. Okay, so pendulum, Trump is losing his mind, fits right in here. That was pendulum message. Guides show volatility, collapse, not strength. Okay, prediction number 4. Remember, we have 6 altogether. Prediction number 4, Project 2025 pushes ahead, but cracks show. Heritage, I've actually, this report is pulling the Heritage Foundation's natal chart as well. So we can keep seeing the energy of because we want that energy to, did I just, I think I just drooled as I did that. We want to definitely see that energy fizzle as well, so I want to keep an eye on it without keeping an eye on it, if you know what I mean. I want to keep a general idea of what's happening here, but not watch, like I told you, not watch the news about it, the fear-mongering stuff. Okay, so again, Project 2025 pushes ahead but cracks show. Heritage agenda advances, but divisions and legal pushback surface. Leaks or trial balloons spark backlash. That's silly. I don't like the way that this report was written like that. I'll keep refining. Courts, media resist. Present inevitability despite cracks. Okay, the hidden agenda. Okay. So the astrology for Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation, disruption, blurred truths, that's for this month, resistance, and echoes of women's right to vote plus the civil rights. Okay, so that's some of those natal charts are being pulled in here. So we might see some conversation about not letting women vote coming from it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if they start planting some seeds and some more civil rights movement ideas starting to be planted to strip. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that, because they're disrupting, blurring the truth, resisting those ideas. Okay. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Okay. So Trump's chart in this area, Project 2025, his eclipse-driven instability weakens Project 2025's legitimacy. Wah, wah, slap. Oh my God, I can't wait to get that mug. I'm going to have to use it like constantly right now. Wah, wah, slap. That's what we're going to do from now on. We've got bed heads. We've got wah, wah, slap. I don't know why wah, wah needs to be in there, but okay. Though it's think tank machinery keeps grinding. Okay. All right. Extends summer rulings and organizing. Stay informed, but avoid despair in this area. This is an area that is really challenging for me, the Project 2025 stuff, because it freaks the shit out of me. Because it is like Handmaid's Tale stuff. If you've watched Handmaid's Tale, then you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, it is freakishly like the whole Christian nationalism thing. And that's like cultish stuff. That's how it's in my brain anyways. Not all Christian nationalists. I mean, just the name is despicable. Christian nationalists. Not all Christians are Christian nationalists. Let's just put it that way. Christian nationalists, like the just term nationalist is just, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. It just doesn't ring very loving, does it? Okay. 5D. So first of all, in the 3D, stay informed, but avoid despair. Okay. So helping from the 5D, visualize their grip loosening. That's an interesting one. Visualize their grip loosening. And I like giving you different ideas in different areas because not everybody's going to want to support, even do any kind of work in light work in this area, but you might want to do something in another area. Okay. So everybody's, this way everybody can pick and choose if you want to do something. Okay. And then the more you do these kind of things, the unicorns will shine their light on you. Okay, in this area about the Project 2025, you can call upon Archangel Gabriel for clarity and Goddess Athena for justice. Goddess Athena for justice. The pendulum insight here from our lead team, losing their grip. Authoritarian blueprints are already cracking. Wah, wah, slap. Okay. I don't know why I wasn't a comedian. I mean, just kidding. Oh, we know why. All right. Prediction number 5. Global pushback on U.S. instability. Global pushback on U.S. instability. Allies resist tariffs and erratic leadership, forming new coalitions. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's amazing because I think with new coalitions, even though, I think it was time that the U.S. got a little, it's this whole privilege thing and like everything is always about the U.S. and, and how a MAGA has, this whole like, we're better than you. No, we're not. We're not better than anybody in the world. And this is where we want to unify the world rather than borders and this is mine, not yours, and wars and fighting for all that kind of stuff, So even though I'm in the US and it feels, I don't like the instability feeling, I have a sense that a lot of countries have felt instability forever because of since World War II, for the approach the U.S. is always taking. So that's probably not new for people outside of the U.S. is my guess. I don't know that for sure. Those who are outside of the U.S., you could chime in there. So it's time for us to feel a little bit of that in the U.S. and so that new coalitions can form that are healthier is just my take on it. Okay. U.S. leverage wanes. BRICS, EU, Asia ties deepen for this month. Some nations exploit U.S. weakness for authoritarian gains. Okay, so some nations might exploit U.S. weaknesses for their authoritarian gains in in their own countries. Because we all know now, we're well aware that there is a far right movement in a lot of countries. There probably is far right groups in every country as there are far left groups in every country and then middle, I just think our middle, the middle stuff needs to just get bigger and bigger and bigger, Okay, astrology influences trade shocks. So we might have some trade shocks, identity crisis. The EU chart under Saturn looks like stress. And Uranus trade strain in China. So there's some strain in China because of their natal chart. Okay. Trump's impact here, his eclipse-driven volatility undermined U.S. credibility abroad. We can see that. That's been going on for a while. Allies lose confidence in Trump-linked leadership. Extends tariff instability of summer. So we're still going to see some of that going into September. So prepare in the 3D, prepare for trade volatility. Okay. So again, just watching your money. That was a message from last month. Watch your money. That's just continue to tighten up on that if you need to. Just, buy what's necessary. Of course, you need to buy the slap. Just kidding. No, don't buy it if you're tight on money. Don't do that. Okay. So let's see. Helping with the 5D practice, send light to amplify cooperation. And you could call upon Archangel Michael for balance. And once again, Goddess Gaia for fairness and resources. Fairness and resources. The pendulum message here is losing their grip. U.S. dominance slips, creating space for balance. U.S. dominance slips, creating space for balance. See, so if the U.S. if we can create space for balance because the U.S. dominance is slipping, I'm okay with that, even though I live in the U.S., you know? It's like, well, if we have to slip a little bit in order to create space for balance, that's beautiful. Okay? In my opinion. Okay, so losing their grip was the pendulum message. Okay, the last one. Prediction for September. Then at the end of September, we're going to do a look back on this look ahead. I'm calling them look ahead and look back. And it'll be interesting to see what actually happens. Okay. So light workers anchor the month. I should have put this one up front because I hope a lot of you are still listening. Light workers anchor the month. September's task is to hold steady, not fix everything. Boy, oh boy, is that, that's really letting go of control. I don't know how many of you have had to work on that in your own lives. Letting go of control, not trying to control everything. Yeah, it's definitely been a thing for me. I don't know. Is it a thing for all humans? I don't know. So September's task for us is to hold steady, not fix everything. Prayer circles, healing rituals, spiritual content expands. Fear-based forces attempt to fracture our unity. So that's a hidden agenda for the month for this prediction. Okay. So fear-based forces, that's why we want to be careful. I'm getting less and less. I haven't watched YouTube in a couple days. I almost don't. I want to pay attention like I'm doing here, but I don't want to watch anything that's like, it's fear-based stuff. I'm not interested anymore because I don't want their fear-based forces to fracture our unity, and I'm just feeling that just overall. So, the astrology influences for light workers anchoring the month: karmic release, new beginnings and systems, collective healing, and that's it. Let's see what they say about Trump's natal chart here under light workers anchor the month. This will be interesting. His eclipse triggered unraveling, fuels collective anxiety, okay, but also drives seekers, you and I, to anchor spiritually. So it's that anchoring. Okay, didn't we say anchoring earlier I think we did. Okay, extends 3-month love versus fear theme. Interesting. Protect energy, avoid burnout. So really protect your energy. Go get that black tourmaline. Really protect your energy, okay? And call upon the different, your spirit team, the lead team collective, your personal unicorn, or these different allies that we've been talking about through here, okay? So anchor light daily, even in small ways. You can call upon Archangel Shamuel. I know that's not how you pronounce it. I'll practice that. For love, or Mary Magdalene, you guys, for divine feminine light. Divine feminine light. The pendulum insight is keeping a hold of the light. That was a pendulum message. So keeping a hold of the light, true power is spiritual steadiness, not reacting to every storm. Isn't that a great way to think about that? True power is spiritual steadiness, not reacting to every storm. Okay. All right. So just a few closing insights. September is a hinge point. 2 eclipses plus Trump's Grand Cross is going to show some ripple effects. Okay. Institutions wobble, but grassroots and spiritual networks expand. The pendulum and skies agree. Breathe, laugh, and hold the light. So the pendulum messages match some of the astrology for the month and what they're encouraging us. Breathe, laugh, and hold the light. Okay. A monthly affirmation you could use is I breathe deeply, stay steady, and hold the light. Systems may shake, but resilience rises. Okay. All right. Let me know, you guys. I know my videos are a little longer now, but like I said, I am going to break them. So someone who wants to sit and listen to the whole thing, hello, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. That would be amazing so that we can really keep pulling in the light workers and encouraging each other and develop unity through this, okay, as much as possible. And like I said, I'll divide this up so that you could just listen to the energy reports when they get long like this. Okay. All right. Have a great one, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.